So, Christiana, I'm going to Tokyo.
Stop!
I just got I have honestly dreamed of making this video for so long, and this is it. I have received an offer for Tokyo Disney. I can't believe I'm saying that right now. Okay, this is my dream contract. I really, again, I don't have the words. I just feel absolutely shocked and so excited. I'm going to be sharing a little bit in this video with you all about my audition journey, any tips that I might have, any fun along the way. Everything that I share is going to be public information that you could find on disneyauditions.com or by attending one of these public auditions. I won't be sharing the details of my contract, and I will be keeping character integrity at the top of my mind. So if you don't know what character integrity is, I will briefly explain it. It is simply protecting the magic of Disney characters. It is keeping the Disney characters separate from performers. So there's only one Mickey Mouse, and when you see Mickey Mouse, you are meeting the real Mickey Mouse. And so it'd be kind of silly if you saw a picture of Mickey Mouse and you said something about me on that picture. You wouldn't say something about me in a picture I wasn't in. You would say something like, Mickey Mouse looks awesome, he's so great, and address it that way. So that is what character integrity means. And if you have questions, that is great. Feel free to leave them in the comments. Just make sure to keep character integrity in mind. So if you've never seen my videos before, I'm just going to give you a quick background about my history with Disney. So I did the Disney College program in 2019, and I was an attractions cast member. I worked for Pirates of the Caribbean. I had the best time on my program. Working for Disney was such a dream come true. And, you know, I grew up doing theater and acting and dance, and so I always wanted to perform for Disney. And so after I left my college program in 2019, I went back home to Kansas City. I went back to the University of Kansas and finished up earning my degree. I graduated and I started my own marketing business, and I was building websites for businesses and doing social media management for a lot of brick and mortar businesses. I had such a great time doing that, and then I decided I wanted to have that corporate experience, so I got a job in marketing at a corporate, fully remote corporate job. All throughout that time, I was auditioning for Disney because I really wanted to return back to Disney ever since I left, and I really wanted to perform for Disney. And I also did party princessing throughout that time with my local companies. So I did party princessing in Kansas City, and then when I moved to Arizona, I did party princessing there as well. After tons of auditions, in total, I did 18 and a half Disney auditions, and I am so happy that I finally got my yes. I'm gonna get emotional already. The first thing that I did when I found out about this offer is call everyone that knew about my audition journey, and I called my family, I called my friends. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys some of the clips of my family and friends' reaction to this news. So, Christiana, I'm going to Tokyo.
Stop! No! Oh my God!
Hello?
What's the matter, babe?
Nothing's wrong. But I have some really good news.
Okay, what is it?
I just got an offer from Tokyo Disney.
What?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Way.
Brittany?
Brittany?
I found out last night that I received an offer to be a performer at Disney. I'm so excited! When did you find out? I just have some really good news.
Oh, what is it?
Oh my god, this is so exciting! It's been like 3 years of constant auditions. Oh my god! I'm like crying now because I know I'm like, oh my god!
All the details. I need to know like when, where. Holy sh**.
So I'm assuming Tokyo?
Yes!
Oh my god, are you kidding me?
No! I wasn't expecting to see this today.
Oh my, are you like freaking out?
I'm freaking out.
That is so amazing, Grace. I am so excited for you. I know we've been talking about this for like, I was gonna say months, but literally years. We've been talking about this since I met you.
We're going to Japan. We're going to Tokyo. As you can tell, this is very meaningful for me. I actually found out about this offer on October 1st in 2023. It is now December. It's a little over halfway in December. There's about a week until Christmas when I'm filming this video. I leave in January to start my contract. So by the time you see this video, I will already be in Japan, and I will be doing some fun Tokyo Disney vlogs in the parks and vlogs in Japan. All that is to say, let's go take it back. Let's take it back to the audition process. It started with an online submission, and this is something they started doing with Disney auditions after the pandemic. And so I submitted a performance reel and a little introduction video of why I wanted to work for Tokyo Disney. And I submitted my performance resume and certain headshots. This is very different than other online submissions I'd done for Disney. A lot of times I would do like a choreographed dance or a script reading and submit that, or just submitting photos for the first round of the audition for online. But Tokyo specifically asked for a performance reel and the why I want to work for Tokyo Disney introduction video. So I want to say about a month after the deadline date to submit for this audition, I received an email inviting me to come in person for a callback. And this is what I like to call an invited audition. You're not kind of at the final round as you might be if you get a call back for Disneyland in California or Disney World in Florida. So I was very excited to receive this invited audition, but I had received a few before, so I didn't really think too much of it, but I was still excited to go. Tokyo is definitely the dream contract. If you ask me, I was like, this was, if I could choose anything, I would want to go and work for Tokyo Disney. But I also knew it was a really competitive park, so I was like, okay, well, we'll see how this goes. The email had a few different cities that I could choose between for going in person. I believe there was one in North Hollywood, one in New York, one in Orlando. There was one in Canada. I knew they had callbacks going on in Paris and London and Australia. So there was a wide variety of places that they went to look for performers for this contract. So around the same time that I received this email inviting me to the Tokyo audition, I also received a callback for a Walt Disney World lookalike audition. And they were both scheduled in one of the weeks in August of 2023, and they were in the same week. They were actually 2 days apart. And so I got all my flights arranged, and I was so excited to be in consideration for 2 parks. I think that was my 5th online submission of Walt Disney World lookalike that I had done, and I had never received a callback. So to receive a callback for that was really exciting. And mind you, this was after years and years of rejection. I auditioned for 3 years nonstop. Finny, come here! Come here! Come on! Do you need help? Got him, everyone. Okay, Finny decided to join us. He's so cute. He's the love of my life. Also, do you guys like my shirt? I made this shirt. I'm so excited. It is added to the shop, and I love it. It's the Queen of Hearts castle. Also, my socks. Dopey and grumpy socks. These are not socks that I made, I just like them. There's a bunch of designs on there too, so if you guys want to check that out, I will leave the link in the description. Okay, where were we? Yes, so when I arrived at the audition, so here comes the week of the audition, the Tokyo callback was first, and the Walt Disney World one was 2 days later. So I drove up to LA, and I stayed with my friend Kylie up there. Thank you so much, Kylie, for letting me do that. I chose the North Hollywood location, and then I was gonna fly the next day to Orlando for the Walt Disney World. So I get to LA, I go to this North Hollywood audition, I walk in, and I see about 32 people. I think I counted, and that's around how many there were. And like I said, this is an invited audition, so very similar to how Hong Kong and Shanghai and Disneyland Paris have been doing their callbacks, where you get to the in-person callback and there's still cuts throughout the audition. So, you know, I'm getting there and I'm like excited, but I also have done so many auditions at this point that I realize that there's a good chance I might get cut sometime today. So I had good expectations going in, and I wasn't too worried about whether I was going to get kept or not. Of course, I was hopeful, but I had just done so many auditions at this point that I was used to rejection and used to that process. So that's something that I really felt going into the day of. I was excited, but I didn't put too much pressure on it. I really think that's something that helped me with my success. So I arrived and I walked up to the casting table, and it was interesting, the same casting directors that check you in for a lot of the Disneyland type outs, there's two that I recognized. And so these are the same two casting directors that I was used to for Disneyland California lookalike calls, checking us in. So it made sense because it's at North Hollywood that they would come and help out. There was also some Japanese casting directors there as well, and we did have a Japanese choreographer, but they were there. And then also one of the lead casting director who works at Walt Disney World was also there, and I was very surprised to see her. I didn't think that she would be there, so that was really interesting to me too. I also recognized some of the auditionees there. You know, when you audition for Disney so much, you start to recognize familiar faces and know the people who are going back again and again. To those people, I just want to say thank you for chatting with me and supporting me through this journey. I support you. I know you guys are still submitting, and I can't wait to watch you get cast. You know, there's so many people that I would be auditioning with, and then I saw them finally get their yes and their contract, and it made me feel so inspired and encouraged, and I hope that's what my story can do for you as well. Know that it can happen for you too. It really can. I got my number. I was number 16, so I was right in the middle of this group of about 32 people. So we started the audition with a dance, and I used to be a dancer. I did jazz and musical theater, dance, growing up, a little bit of ballet, but I hadn't done it in years, and I wasn't a professional dancer by any means, so I had trouble with previous Disney auditions, with picking up choreography quickly, and so I was a little bit worried about that. But as soon as we started learning the choreography, something about that dance, I just loved the choreography, and it was easier for me to pick it up because I loved it so much. And we did switch lines throughout learning the dance, so I tried to get in the middle and the front as often as I could so that I could really see her dance. I was told going into this audition that the choreography would be really hard, and it certainly wasn't easy, but I wouldn't classify it as like super difficult either. You also don't need to get it perfect. You just have to show that you can move well and have good facial expressions, I feel like. Once we learned all the choreography, they split us into two groups, and we practiced with music with one group and the other, did that a few times, and then they split us off into groups of 4 by our number, so I knew I would be going around in the middle. And we performed it for the casting directors in our group of 4. They staggered us, just really did it one after another. They told us not to applause for each other and to save that for the ends, to keep things moving quickly. It was really nice that I was in the middle, because once we learned all the choreography, you know, you get out of breath. And so having that moment to catch my breath while other people performed for the casting director was really nice, but also not having to wait until the very end and just build up nerves in my stomach was good too. When we performed for the casting directors, we performed it once in our staggered lines, and then they had us switch. So here's the 4 of us, and we switched so that the opposite 2 were in the front, and we performed it again. And I really liked the chance to be doing it twice, because for me, when I'm at a Disney audition and I'm next to someone who's really good, I know that the casting director's eye is going to be drawn to them. So I really liked the chance of getting to do it twice for them, so that I felt like I was really being seen, and that they'd be able to watch me and judge me fairly, and not be pulled their attention somewhere else. So be strategic. If you like to audition last, some people have that preference too. So just think about it with the time that you arrive so that you get around the number that you want. It's just something to think about. So I do remember there was a few moves that I didn't do perfectly, or a few things that I forgot here and there, but I do feel like I did the moves really well, that like I moved very gracefully and I felt like my facial expressions were good. So I felt really good about what I did, and that was exciting. So after we performed, we all stood in a line and they called the numbers that they wanted to keep. And I was so used to not hearing my number get called at Disney auditions, especially in-person auditions I found to be trickier than online submissions. I was shocked and excited when I heard my number called, and I was just like, wow, like I must have done good on the dance, and I was so happy. And it was kind of surreal, be on that side of getting rejected a lot and then get kept on one of the auditions. It's like, wow, I'm one of those people. I will say there was quite a few people who got cut that I were really surprised that got cut. Just people who were wonderful dancers, who had amazing energy, or just beautiful people, like beautiful people who I thought would have been amazing lookalikes. And I think they just had a lot of really good options. That made, you know, the job for the casting director extra hard, is there's a lot of good options and a lot of people who would be a great fit for the role, but you only have so many spots. Something I will say, I noticed one girl in particular who was an incredible dancer. Like, this girl was amazing, and she did get cut. And I was talking to one of my girls who also got an offer for this contract. I've been texting back and forth with her. I got her number. I'm so happy to know someone going into this, talking about how she noticed that girl too, and that she thinks it's because she was so big and so different that it didn't look like a uniformed unit when you're dancing together. You want to be able to show that amazing energy and facial expressions, but you also want to be able to blend and do the moves the same as the people next to you. It's always sad seeing people leave and get cut, because you know, you talk and you make friends throughout the audition. So I was sad to see some of my friends leave, but I got kept, so this is what happened next. So they cut us down from 32 people in the beginning to about 12 or 13 people. I was one of 7 girls kept, 7 female presenting people kept. Everyone I talked to who was kept, a lot of people were current performers for other Disney parks. A lot of people who worked at Disneyland, because we were close to Disneyland. It's great if you have experience, and if you break into one park, I think it's easier to get hired at other parks, especially for international parks. I don't think it will hurt you not having worked for Disney before, but I do think it will help you if you've already worked at one of the parks. And that's something to note, that those are the people you're competing with when you're submitting for these auditions, people who might have been in the casting director's eye for years. So everyone who was kept was so nice. We all got to chat with each other a little bit, and then the casting directors lined us up and they chatted with each one of us and asked us if we had worked for Disney before. It was really interesting hearing about what all these people were currently doing. It was so fun. They also stared at us a little bit like they do in a type out, just to confirm which script they'd be giving each of us. Then they gave us our sides, or our scripts. They actually told us to not read from the script. The sides had scripts and just information about our role. And so we were told that we were going to be doing improv. So we were not supposed to read from the script. We were doing an improv meet and greet type of interaction for the casting directors. So we did that, and they actually called my number back into the room after we did our little readings. And they had me redo one of the dance moves, because they had recorded us doing the dances. So I'm sure they were watching it back and keeping that in mind moving forward for the next round. So they had me do one of the dance moves again. And I did that, and I came back into the room with all my fellow auditionees, and they were all like staring at me like, why did they call your number back into the room? Like, what's going on? And I was like, it's all good, guys. I just messed up one of the moves, you know, but they seemed pretty satisfied with what I did when they called me back in there. So I felt kind of confident going into the next round because they seemed happy, but I wasn't sure. But they called us all back into the room and they made another cut. So they cut us from 13 or 12 to 7, and it was 4 female presenting and 3 male presenting people at the very end, at the final round of this audition. I did not realize there was going to be another cut, but there was. So there was 2 cuts total in this audition, 3 if you include getting the invite to go to this audition in the first place. So then they split us up into 2 groups from there, and they had my group do a fitness test. And this fitness test was only for my group with the people who would have certain roles. It was a lot of planks and like core and lower back stuff to make sure we had a strong and healthy core for certain opportunities there. They told us that most people don't make it through the whole fitness test, that it's designed to be really hard, and it was hard, but I think I did okay, and I do think after receiving my contract that I passed the fitness test. I don't know. So then they brought us back all into the same room. They did a few other things that I won't mention, and they had us sit in a circle and they gave us information pamphlets, and they just sat down with us and went over some of the contract information, answered questions, and honestly, the casting directors are amazing at answering questions and just talking you through everything, especially for international contracts where there are a lot of questions. They're really good about answering anything that you want to know. This was the longest part of the audition, was sitting down and getting that information. It was really nice to be in that room. I couldn't believe I was sitting there in that room. It was kind of crazy. And then they told us that we would hear back around the end of October or early November about whether we got it or not, and that if we didn't hear back, that they unfortunately did not have an offer for us that time. And I will say it is very common to get all the way through an audition like that. Tokyo and Shanghai and Paris and Hong Kong, all those international contracts, just not receive an offer just because they don't have a spot for you. Was so excited to be there, but I definitely had my hesitations with getting too excited because I knew I didn't know whether they'd have a spot for me, but I was really excited to have made it all the way to the end. Like I said, I found out that I did get the contract offer on October 1st, so it was even earlier than I was expecting. With Tokyo, they do scatter the offers in multiple weeks, usually like once a week, once they start sending out offers. I remember I heard someone else got the offer and I was like, oh my gosh, no, this means I didn't get it. But then the following week, I received my email. I went on my merry way and I was really excited to go to my Walt Disney World callback that was a few days later. The week I was doing these auditions also just happened to be World Princess Week, and I had a really magical experience at my Walt Disney World callback. I got to go to the parks because there was some other people there who currently worked there and had an extra comp ticket for me, and it was honestly one of the most magical, amazing weeks of my life. The hardest part of this whole process was waiting after I had gotten kept to the end of the audition to getting my offer. I thought about it every single day. I talked to one guy who was kept to the end in his London audition, and he said that he had made it to that point 3 times and never actually received an offer, like made it all the way to the end. And Tokyo only does auditions about once a year. So I was like just so anxious to hear back, and I knew that there was a big chance I wouldn't get an offer. So now I'm in the process of figuring out logistics, and I've already had my visa process underway of getting my work visa, figuring out what to pack, and I'm really coming up on it soon now. Like I said, by the time you're watching this video, I will be in Japan. I will say one of the things that has been tough to figure out is having my partner Isaac. It is a long contract and he will not be able to come with me. Figuring out when he's going to visit and kind of coming to terms with the fact that I'll be doing long distance with him for so long is something that's been a little bit crazy, and the one thing that's made it all bittersweet. But he is so excited for me, so supportive. Now I'm just going to talk a little bit about tips that I might have for the audition. I know this video might be a little long, so I hope you guys don't mind. I have so much to say because I have certainly learned a lot along the way. I know I've talked with you all about this a little bit in past videos. Take any advice that I give you or that anybody else gives you with a grain of salt. Even if it's a casting director's feedback, all casting directors are different. Don't take anything as like, oh, I have to do my makeup this way because this girl has the job, so she must know. It's like, no, everybody's journey is different. Learn what works for you. What worked for me might not work for you. That being said, Of course, I'm going to say the obvious stuff that everyone says in these types of videos, like smile lots, talk to everyone, be outgoing. If you're messing up your feet in the choreography, make sure you're smiling. Make sure that you are being professional. So all of those things are extremely important tips. Even if you've heard it lots of times, really take that to heart and really make sure you're implementing it and not being like, yes, of course I'll smile, blah, blah, blah. Like, actually really work on that. Practice like talking and not smiling, like not stopping smiling while you're talking and just talking like this and da 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 da. Like literally practice that. Some other tips that I've learned along my journey that I haven't heard other people talk about too much, a lot of them are makeup related. This is a job that really, like, your face matters a lot on what role that you might receive, and so experimenting with makeup has been something that has been extremely helpful for me. Like, I look back at my old Disney auditions video, the online one, and the way that I have my makeup in that video, I'm just like, girl, you've grown so much. Some of my favorite ones I picked up along the way. False mascara for my eyelashes, that works really well for me because I'm really bad at doing false eyelashes. False mascara is fantastic. Shaving or exfoliating my face before I do my makeup. Don't shave your face every day, but just shaving it with a specific face razor can eliminate peach fuzz and make your foundation look amazing. Rubbing your face with gently with a towel, a damp towel, before you put your makeup on, that'll really smooth out your face before you do your makeup. Blush placement, brows are something that's great to experiment with. Experimenting with your hair, for me, what worked for me was a top knot. It just framed my face great, and it wasn't something I started doing until like the end of my audition process, and that's when I started having some success. Something about just a nice top knot bun really worked for me, but for you it might be having it down and curly, and hair can frame your face differently. I know people say like, oh, hair doesn't matter, but it can make a difference for some people, so experiment with it. I would also recommend practicing 4 things to be successful at Disney auditions, like actually taking time to practice these things. One of them is animation. There is no animation portion at the Tokyo Disney audition, but there have been animation portions of the audition at most every other Disney audition I've done. Animation, if you don't know, it's a little like charades. They're gonna give you a prompt, like pretend you're working at a job, and then you get a call, and then you're a superhero, and you go fight some bad guy, and you have to act that out with your body. So practice animation by practicing charades. Get the Heads Up app on your phone, record yourself doing it. Seriously, do this. Like, don't be like, oh, good idea, let me not do it. Like, do this before your audition. It'll help so much, where you record yourself acting something out and see how you can make your movements more clear, a little bit slower. Use your facials, practice in front of family, have them give you feedback. Clarity is more important over being unique in animations. It's great if you can be unique, but if you're doing very clear movements and they know what you're saying, that's a really good ding, ding, ding sign for them that you're gonna be able to communicate with guests, doing like universal movements like shh, or look, or laugh, look. And then big movements, but slow movements. You don't want to be like confusing and too fast. The other things that you need to practice, the other 3 things, is common dance moves that they use in Disney auditions. So things like jazz squares, pivot turns. Just watch the parades and see what common dance moves they do and practice those, record those, and make sure that you like the way you do that move. I have seen a lot of single pirouettes in dances, and I think they do that just to kind of see like, okay, who's the dancer who can do a pirouette, like one pirouette, and they usually give you the option of doing a single or a double. So if you want to learn how to do that, like, you go for that, you know. The other thing I want you to practice is your facial expressions. Record you doing different facial expressions, and literally, like, you want to practice things like so many different facial expressions. And then you want to also practice your smile. So if you smile in the mirror, I said this in my Disney auditions video, If you smile and you notice like, okay, this side of my smile is a little bit less, like it's a little farther down than this side, you can kind of make subtle adjustments to your smile, or like, oh, my smile looks better if I tilt my head down a little, or if I tilt my head up a little, or this side or that side. Like, these little things can be great to practice so that you can make your smile look most flattering for type outs or pictures if you're submitting for lookalike auditions. The other thing I want you to practice is your voice. So not only your regular talking voice, I think they appreciate in a lookalike character if you have a more excited voice and it's a little bit more fun and it has a little bit more up and down and melodic and it's a little bit higher and it's clear and you have good diction. You want to do your natural voice. You don't want to be too crazy, but the main thing practicing with voice is for characters. So if you think you look like a certain character, or you're auditioning for a specific vocalist role that's going to have acting portions, you want to be able to do good character impressions, because when you get to that portion of the audition, you don't have a lot of time to practice your script and you need to make your voice sound good enough for them. I feel like that was less important back in the day. But when I went to my Walt Disney World audition, this was something I wish I had practiced more, because again, you won't get much time. You want to make sure you kind of have that down and have that ready. Practice different characters and see, like, listen back to their voices and see if you can mimic that. And most importantly, take care of your mental health. It can be a long process for some. For some, you might get it on the first try. For me, it took 18.5 tries. It can be a tough process on your mental health. So submit and forget, focus on your other goals and aspirations. I know for me, I was checking my email every day and I was always thinking about it, checking the group chats, checking everything to see if anyone had gotten a call back. And that can be exhausting and that can be not very good for you. So you want to make sure to take care of your mental health. Don't build it up in your head as being something that's impossible. You know, if something seems like it's impossible to you, it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. As soon as I started feeling like this might not be something that's out of reach or out of the question for me, is when I started having that success. So I'm so excited to explore Japan and to go to Tokyo Disney for this entire experience, and I'm really excited to take you guys along with me. If you've made it this far in the video, I do want to mention I will be posting some more detailed videos on Patreon about my experiences auditioning and also about party princessing. I have a lot of my party princessing videos up on Patreon now, and I have them going every other week. I upload a video to Patreon. I answer questions and chat with you guys on there. I've kept it at $5 a month to keep it super accessible. I don't want it to be inaccessible for anybody who wants those videos. So that is there and available to you guys. I hope to see some of you there. If not, I'm so thankful to have you here with me, and it means so much to me having you here with me. In regards to party princessing as well, again, I think I've mentioned it in a few different videos. I just didn't want there to be any confusion. I knew I had this offer, and I knew I was in consideration for this for a while now. So I decided to go ahead and private a lot of those party princessing videos. They are on Patreon, but I just didn't want there to be any confusion with my job in this. Not that there's anything wrong with those videos at all, but just to be safe, I wanted to make sure that I didn't have that on a public platform. I probably will be talking about party princessing still in the future and here and there, because it is a huge passion of mine. I will continue to vlog in the parks and try to put out videos every week. It might be a little bit like sometimes every other week here on YouTube, but I'm gonna try as much as I can to post on Instagram a lot, do Instagram lives, and do videos every week, because I just love social media so much and I really want to document this experience. It's so special to me. So yes, and I'm going to keep doing my cute little fairy tale t-shirt designs. This link is in the description box down below if you are interested in this. Just something that's really fun and exciting for me. And so I wanted to share that with you guys. Again, keep character integrity in mind if you do decide to leave a comment on this video or anywhere on Instagram, on anything that I post in regards to this. Thank you all so much for being on this journey with me. Subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to see future videos from me. And I appreciate you all so very much. And I will see you guys in Tokyo. Bye.